Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky's youngest daughter, Portia Umansky, is officially a senior in high school. This makes the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills cast member one step closer to being an empty nester, and she is very emotional about it. Kyle took to her Instagram story on Wednesday, August 27, where she wrote the sweetest message to Portia as she heads back to school. "My baby is a senior in high school," she wrote, along with a face holding back tears and a pink heart emoji. Today, Portia went to school early to watch the sunrise with her class. As she left, "I couldn't help but think about how quickly time passes. A year from now, she'll be going to college. A little reminder to enjoy every moment," Kyle noted, along with a praying emoji. Along with the message, Kyle posted a photo of Portia as she headed out the door of their Encino home at 5:59 a.m. to attend her first day of school. In the photo, the youngest Umansky daughter can be seen wearing a sweatshirt, a casual pair of sweatpants with the word senior printed on the back of them, while carrying a Louis Vuitton purse with a Labubu attached to it on her shoulder. Portia Umansky shares a little update on her life. Kyle's second youngest daughter, Sophia Umansky, posted a video on TikTok alongside Portia on August 27 as they tried new fall-themed coffee drinks together. Portia, however, took over the video at one point to share a little update on what's going on in her life. "I got my lashes done the other day," she explained. "Tomorrow, I have my senior sunrise, and that means that I'm officially a senior. I know you guys are going to be like, 'What? She's a senior? I swear she was 4 years old.' And then you guys are gonna be like, 'She's too young for lashes.' You're just going to have to accept it for like, who I am, you know?" she joked. Kyle Richards opens up about daughter Portia's future career goals. Although Portia is just entering her senior year of high school, Kyle knows that she has some big plans for her future. Kyle appeared on an Amazon live stream on April 28 alongside Sophia and her daughters, Alexia Umansky and Farah Al-Jafri, where they revealed that Portia will not likely have a career in real estate. "I think she's got other plans, very cool plans, but I won't expose them," Alexia said. "Very entrepreneurial. She'll probably start her own business," Farah added. Kyle admitted that she can already see Farah as a businesswoman. "The other day, she was pacing back and forth, and I thought, why is Portia on a business call? She was literally having a business call," Kyle explained. "And she goes, 'Well, you know, this person I know, they're working with this brand.' And she had all these great ideas, and I'm like, this girl is so smart." "She's so smart," all three sisters said at the same time. "She's one of the smartest people I've ever met," Alexia added. Wearing sweatpants with senior emblazoned in bold letters and her oversized Louis Vuitton slung over one shoulder, she moved with the awkward confidence of someone standing at the edge of childhood, staring into the glittering void of adulthood. In her other hand, she held a drink, an iced pumpkin cream cold brew, because if she was going to get up at 5 a.m., she needed fall-themed caffeine. Her lashes fluttered dramatically as she blinked against the early morning light. Everything about her, from her glossy pink nails to the quirky Labubu charm swinging from her bag, said, "I'm ready for this," or at least pretending to be. But as she reached the school parking lot, something strange happened. The senior sunrise was supposed to be on the football field, a bunch of seniors sitting around on blankets, wrapped in hoodies, half asleep and already dreaming of graduation. But instead of the usual chaos of kids and coffee cups, Portia stepped into silence. Total, surreal silence. No one was there. Just the field, and the sky, painted in brilliant streaks of lavender and gold as the sun climbed up the horizon. She glanced at her phone. 6:13 a.m. She was on time, but where was everyone? Then she saw it. In the middle of the field, where the school's mascot statue usually stood, the bobcat made of brass, was a mirror. Tall, ornate, glowing slightly at the edges, not a creepy mirror. It looked warm, inviting. like the kind you'd find in an enchanted dressing room or in a boutique that didn't exist on Google Maps. She should have been scared, but she wasn't. Maybe it was the caffeine, or the fact that everything felt dreamlike, or maybe, just maybe, deep down, she wanted something magical to happen. Portia approached the mirror and saw not just her reflection, but versions of herself, a carousel of futures flickering like stories waiting to be told. One reflection wore a power suit and stood atop a glittering skyscraper in New York, her own fashion tech empire flashing on billboards behind her. Another wore a dusty apron, hands stained with clay, sculpting delicate, surreal forms in a sun-drenched Parisian studio. A third danced across a stage in Tokyo, lights bouncing off her rhinestone lashes. Each Portia had a different life, a different dream, a different truth, and then the mirror whispered, not in words, in memories. She saw her mom, Kyle, crying softly at the doorway that morning, trying to hide it behind a smile. She saw the worry etched in her mother's face every time she talked about her daughters growing up and moving on. The aching pride. She saw her sister Sophia, teasing her on TikTok just hours ago, saying, "You're so dramatic, Portia," before hugging her tightly when the camera turned off. She saw every Halloween costume her mom made for her, every missed ballet recital her dad made up for with ice cream and extra hugs. Every night she cried about fitting in, or standing out, or just being enough. And yet here she was, standing on the edge of something big. The mirror shimmered. A voice, her own, but older, spoke. "You get to choose your next world, but you only get one first step." The ground beneath her trembled slightly, not in fear, in anticipation. One by one, the future versions of Portia stepped out of the mirror and stood in a line before her, each waiting. The business mogul with her sleek bob and a diamond-studded iPhone. The sculptor in overalls with clay under her nails and peace in her eyes. The performer with silver eyeshadow and sparkles in her hair. Portia looked at each of them. Then she looked down at herself, oversized hoodie, senior sweatpants, overpriced iced coffee, and realized something. She didn't want to choose yet. Not because she was scared, because she was still becoming. With a grin, she took a step back from the mirror. "No," she whispered to the versions of herself. "Not yet. I want to live first. I want to screw up. I want to fall in love with the wrong people. I want to dye my hair a color I'll regret. I want to take a gap year and work at a bookstore in Rome or start a business that completely fails. I want to not know." The other Portias nodded. And then, one by one, they smiled and stepped backward, fading into the mirror. The mirror's glow dimmed, then disappeared altogether, leaving behind nothing but grass and sunrise. Portia stood in the silence, heart pounding, not with fear, but with joy. She wasn't late. She was exactly where she needed to be. And then, just like that, the real world returned. The sound of car doors slamming, kids shouting, coffee being poured into plastic cups, her classmates finally filling the field. It was like nothing had happened. Except everything had. Later that morning, as she sat on a fuzzy blanket beside Sophia and a few friends, watching the last blush of the sunrise fade into daylight, Portia checked her phone. There was a message from her mom. "My baby is a senior in high school. I can't believe how fast time flies. A year from now, college. A little reminder to enjoy every moment." Portia smiled. She looked at the sunlight hitting the trees, the dew still sparkling on the grass, the way people laughed sleepily, how even the football field felt like it had a heartbeat. Enjoy every moment, her mom had said. So she did. She took a long sip of her drink, leaned her head back, and laughed, loud and real. She didn't know where she was going yet, but wherever it was going to be amazing. Epilogue, 1 year later. Kyle Richards stood in the doorway of her now quieter Encino home. The hallway was scattered with empty boxes, and Portia's old room was a half-packed memory. A photo sat on the mantel. Portia at sunrise. Her hoodie a little too big, her eyes glowing. A moment captured forever. And in a downtown loft across the city, Portia Umansky, freshly graduated, not quite in college yet, and blissfully in between, stood at her desk, designing her first product line for a brand new startup she had just launched with her cousin. It was called Becoming, because life, she decided, wasn't about arriving. It was about unfolding.